Hello, welcome everyone to FMC. I am Jeremy. This is SP3. SP3, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing wonderful this morning. Friday mornings are one of my favorites. Spend time with my family and then get on here with another family man and Jeremy talk about anything but the W word that ends with ling. Uh, so it's
West
always
Wing?
no that ends with ling.
Oh, you said Ling. Okay, I thought you said Ing. I was like, oh, West Wing. I ruined my own joke. What can you do?
But yes, it's always a great time talking NBA, getting people upset, and I've been doing a lot of that on.
You have. You've been abusing the FMC NBA Twitter account. I set it up and did like one tweet, and then I got so busy with everything else that I kind of now it's just like a burner because so many people have me blocked on Twitter. Like I didn't realize I was blocked by certain people, so now it's
Yes.
just like, oh well, now I can just use this as a burner for like to look at tweets and stuff. And I haven't actually like tweeted from it, but you're over here with these pro Kyrie tweets and pissing off LeBron fans and everything. You're gonna upset me with these pro Kyrie tweets.
Oh, I love it. I'm loving the Brooklyn retweets because people don't know it's me all the time. So I have family bias as well. That's the greatest part of it. Like just being calling him the greatest part timer since Brock Lesnar in 2014. I've been pissing people off at it, and we even got a new follower. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, you need to be a part of this movement. If you're a subscriber, a follower of Jeremy or myself, or just the Fightful Overbook YouTube channel, FMC underscore MBA for some hot takes on all things basketball.
Oh man, let's talk about Kyrie Irving. I don't know how much you believe this, but you said that he's going to be the MVP if he could have played in every single game. Your Jokic bias is just something else. It's something else here.
It's kind of become my like bit now.
You
it's kind of become
hater
a
on
bit.
Nikola Jokic.
Hey, he deserves it. He played well against the Sixers.
What
You
do you mean
know,
he deserves it? He's. I got him winning MVP right now. He's my front runner.
what?
Yes, I got him over Embiid. I got him over Embiid.
Flabbergasted. This is
I'm
a
not.
man.
I'm not doing a bit. I'm not joking. I think what he has done with that roster. That roster is not good. What he
No,
has done with that roster, like he should be the MVP. Their record is the same as Philadelphia. His numbers are just as good as Embiid. He offers more on the court than Embiid. His defense isn't as bad as people want to make it out to be. It's not Embiid's levels, but like it's still
yeah.
good. Offensively, he's a better offensive player than Embiid.
I don't know about that. He could do more things on the court. I'll give you that, but I wouldn't say he's a better offensive player. I think Embiid knows how to get the ball in the basket more than
So
him.
what Jokic does too.
Hey! All I will say is that Jokic in the next week, by the time we talk about this subject again, he could be a seventh or eighth seed, and you're telling me he's the MVP?
We're talking. Okay, that's next week. He could also be a 4 seed.
Hey, it's more likely for him to be a 7 seed at the very least because the Timberwolves are on fire,
They
and
are playing well.
you know me more than anyone as a Laker fan knows that the Timberwolves are on fire after they clowned our butts, and I don't even want to really talk about that because I got the stat that I think on January something we the Lakers and the Timberwolves were 24 and 24, both teams. Since then, the Timberwolves are 17 and 6, while the Lakers are 5 and 16.
Lakers are trash. We'll get to the Lakers here in a second. Let's get back to Embiid against Jokic. Embiid is only better at putting the ball in the basket because he gets to the line 11 times, nearly 12 times a game,
That's a part of the
11.9
game.
free throws per game. He gets 10 points per game just off of free throws.
That's a part of the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, but come
He's
on.
doing what he needs to do to get
Come
the
on.
ball in the rim. He's pound. No one knows how to defend him in the paint, in the block.
Because he's very Harden-esque where he just flails his arms around and just tries to draw a bunch of fouls. It's garbage. It's garbage basketball.
It works for him, ladies and gentlemen.
It's garbage basketball.
This man is averaging nearly 30 points per game, 4.5 assists, 11.5 rebounds. Like, this is it. Like, you cannot rob this man of MVP. He should have won MVP last year.
Jokic is at 26 points, so he is only 4 points. We'll say 4 points because Embiid is at 29.9. He's 4 points behind Embiid, right? But he also Embiid, he gets 4 more points off of free throws. So that's where he makes up the 4 points right there. So he gets 4 more points.
It's not his fault that they are both 7 feet tall and only one of them knows how to get in the block and draw fouls.
It's his fault that he gets called differently and he foul hunts, unlike Jokic. It's his fault for that. Jokic is averaging more rebounds, 13.8 compared to 11.4. 2 more rebounds, so you can't use rebounds. Assists, Embiid's at 4.4. Jokic is at 8.1, so nearly double the assist total as well. So you're going to say 4 points is the difference? 4 free throw points is the difference between these two?
He's doing better in his conference than the Nuggets
barely.
Are. Yes, I
barely.
know the Nuggets. Yes, I know the
records?
The Nuggets have a beaten. Yes, they have the same record, but the Nuggets.
So he's not even doing better.
This is ridiculous.
He's not even doing better.
You're trying to rob.
42 wins compared to 42 wins. It's the same amount of wins. So if the Nuggets, if you flipped conferences, the Nuggets would be in the same spot that the Sixers are in.
But we
can't
look at the rosters. Conferences. We can't
look at the rosters.
Conferences. Well, look at Embiid's roster before James Harden got here. It's the same.
Tobias Harris is better than anybody that the Nuggets have.
That's arguable.
Tobias Harris is better than anybody that the Nuggets have.
I'll take MPJ over.
He's been hurt all season. He's been hurt all season. That doesn't count. He's been hurt all season. You can't say, I'm going to take this injured player. I would too if he was healthy all season, but he hadn't been healthy all season.
Hey, yes, Jokic has ridiculous numbers. He's nearly averaging a triple-double. I am not taking anything away from him. I am even going off of my stance that Ja Morant is a higher MVP candidate. It is a 1-2 race. It is just Jokic and Embiid. I feel like Giannis,
Giannis is playing really well lately too.
Yeah, Giannis has even eclipsed Ja Morant for me, where I put him at number 3. Then I will put DeRozan. Then I would put Ja Morant. Ja Morant has gone from 2 to 5 since in the last week for me, because the gap between the Suns and the Grizzlies have widened in the past week as well. So that is all. It's all about, because for years, I've been watching the NBA for 30 years. For years, it's always been about your place in the conference. So at the end of the day,
Westbrook changed that. Westbrook changed that, though.
He shouldn't have. Kobe Bryant should. I am still bitter about Kobe Bryant with Smush Parker, Chris Mim. He should have won the MVP. And the fact that he didn't nearly 15 years ago, no one who is below a 6 seed should ever win the MVP, in my opinion. And Embiid should have won it last year if he didn't get injured late into the season.
Well,
I'm not trying to rob Embiid of another MVP. He deserves it this year. He's been the catalyst holding the Sixers team together. Tobias Harris is good, but he's not consistent enough for you to say that he's like this great number 2.
I'm not saying
stops Embiid from being MVP.
I'm not saying Tobias Harris is that good of a number. He's definitely not a number 2 player. I'm saying he's better than anybody on the Nuggets roster, though, that's been healthy. He's better than anybody on the Nuggets roster that's been healthy.
So what are we doing here?
He's got Harden. Now he's got Harden. And Jokic still has nobody.
Hey, that's not Embiid's fault. Embiid is still like an MVP.
Look at the rosters.
He's still playing like an MVP. If the Nuggets can get into the top 5 seed, then yes, I will concede this argument and I will say, Jokic, you deserve the MVP. But until they get out of this 6 seed, I'm sorry, I'm not giving it.
You're basing this off of just seeding when they have the same record.
Yes, because
that's your whole argument.
It's always been about seeding. It's always been.
It got changed with Westbrook. Like it or not, it got changed with Westbrook.
That's a mirage. That's the exception to the rule. That's not the rule. That rule didn't change.
The Sixers have two players. They got Maxey and Harris averaging 17. They've been on the team all season. They're averaging 17 points. And you like points so much. They're averaging 17 points. And then Harden's been averaging 22 points since he got there. You know the highest scorer on the Nuggets besides Jokic? Will Barton with 14. 14 points per game they're getting out of this man.
Hey, all I will say is that Will Barton is a good player, ladies and gentlemen. I think people are sleeping on Will Barton. Will Barton can put the ball in the basket.
And he's got 14 points. Tobias Harris has 17. Maxey has 17. He doesn't put the ball in the basket better than the two best Sixers.
Hey, it is quite impressive that Jokic is leading the Nuggets in every statistical category, from points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He is, no doubt, their most valuable player. But he has four other guys averaging double figures. Michael Porter Jr., although he's been hurt, he only played 9
games. You're not telling me 9 games of Michael Porter Jr. counts for anything.
That is a big difference. 9 games is better than
James
0
Harden played like 9 games.
That Ben Simmons played for the Sixers.
Harden played like 9 games. So if you're going to discount Harden, then you got to discount Michael Porter Jr.
So you're telling me that 9 games is going to stop Joel Embiid from winning the MVP? He deserves it.
You're telling me 9 games of Michael Porter Jr. matters, so yes.
He deserves it, ladies and gentlemen.
I care about numbers and stats.
Hey, I care about numbers and stats too. And Joel Embiid is the leader for the Sixers in points, in rebounds, in assists, in blocks. He is leading his team by example. He deserves to be the MVP. He got robbed of an MVP last year, and he is doing the thing. They can get up to the 2nd seed. They could be a number 2 seed by the time the season ends, and we're gonna deny him the MVP.
Wouldn't Harden have a factor in that though? Wouldn't Harden have a factor if they get the 2nd seed?
Yeah, if you want to give Harden an award for best midseason pickup, yes, great. But it doesn't take away the MVP from Embiid.
I agree that Harden doesn't fully take it away from Embiid, but what it does do is it gives it to Jokic. Jokic takes it away from Embiid by just being better this season.
He's not been better this season.
He has been.
This is preposterous.
It's most valuable player. They
have been on the same level most of this season. Yes, Jokic is a better passer than him. He's been getting more rebounds because, like you said, he doesn't have much on his team to get rebounds, ladies and gentlemen. He does have a couple of guys who can average double figures, but not a lot of guys that can do rebounding. Tobias Harris averaging like 7 rebounds or so for the Sixers. So yeah, he's averaging 7 rebounds for the Sixers. James Harden's been averaging 7 since he's arrived. So he's given up the rebounds. So the rebounds ain't a big difference here. He's giving it up. James Harden averaging.
If Embiid is averaging 13 rebounds, this argument doesn't change. I don't care about rebounds.
Yes, it does.
I do not care about rebounds.
You're telling me a guy averaging 30, 13. Let's just say his numbers off the bat: 30, 11. 4 assists and 1.5 blocks is not going to win MVP, and he's a 13.
Yeah, when a guy is averaging 26, 13, and 8, and nearly a block per game as well.
That's great.
That's better.
I've seen guys average more assists than the MVP of the season before. This has happened all before, but we are talking about who is the most valuable to his team, and all season long, it's been Joel Embiid.
If you take Embiid off of the Sixers, pre-Harden, they're not good. I completely concede that. It's not a good team.
They're a last seed.
I don't know if they're quite last seed.
They're a last seed.
With Harden, they're at least fighting for a playoff spot. With Harden, this team is still fighting for a playoff spot. If you take Jokic off of the Nuggets, that team is 100% a last seed. Who is doing anything on this team if Jokic is off this team? I
guarantee you. Look at the West. The West has some awful teams. I don't know what's happened to the West. I remember when the West was
the Thunder. I've been watching enough Thunder. that Thunder team much better than the Nuggets without Jokic. Shai's the best player on the floor if you take Jokic off.
I'll tell you what, the team I've been watching the most, the Lakers are not better than the Nuggets without Nikola Jokic. I'll tell you that. The Rockets are not better than the Nuggets without Jokic. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Nuggets wouldn't be the last seed in the West. The West is horrible. The bottom half of the West from 9 on, it's not good teams. It's not good teams. And this is like the reverse of what I've grown up with my entire life. My entire life, like the 5 through the rest of the Eastern Conference was always bad. And now the Eastern Conference is the harder conference, and the Sixers are a 3 seed with a guy that's averaging 30 and 11. He deserves MVP.
Jokic deserves MVP over Embiid. This Nuggets team is awful. It's awful. It's all when Jokic sits, they get outscored. And I watched the Westbrook MVP season. I watched just about every game from that season. And the playoffs, it really showed. Like Westbrook couldn't sit for more than 2 seconds, and they got outscored by about 20 points in that time. At least when Embiid sits, especially now with Harden, like they're still fine. They're still fine. Harden hurts Embiid right now. And like, I don't think that's totally fair to Embiid because he has had a great season. Look, he's had a great season. I have him number 2. It's very close for me, but Harden's there now. And that's just it's going to hurt him overall. If Jokic can maintain a similar pace, a similar record, I think he's going to win. I'm not sleeping on Giannis either. I'm really not sleeping on Giannis at this point.
The only reason that we're not bringing him into the conversation is because he won one, and that's also another reason why Jokic doesn't need to win this season.
I don't care. Two is like kind of the cutoff because Giannis, there is going to be voter fatigue with him. He's won 2 Finals MVP championship last year. You can win back to back. I mean, Harden won back to back. I don't know if he deserved all of them, but like he won back to back. Giannis wins back to back. Most guys seem to win back to back, and I'm not saying that is why Jokic is going to win, but you can typically get away with winning 2 straight before voters like, okay, let's give it to somebody else. So that's why I'm not discounting like, oh, Embiid deserves to win it. I'm looking at this season and who is actually the most valuable. And it is Nikola Jokic.
It is Joel.
It's not Joel Embiid just because he flails his arms around and acts like he's injured on every play and gets to the free throw line for 10 times more a game.
He's in the harder conference, ladies and gentlemen, and they are.
That's not Jokic's fault. That's not Jokic's fault.
And ladies and gentlemen, they were a 3 seed before James Harden got here.
It's not Jokic's fault that the Lakers decided to suck and can't win a game.
It's not Joel Embiid's fault that the Sixers actually want to win a championship and the Nuggets are just doing nothing with that crappy
roster. What do you mean doing nothing? They got injuries. They got injuries, and Jokic is carrying them through those injuries.
They had a whole trade deadline to make a move.
What do you trade? What do you? They don't have anything to trade. What are you supposed to trade?
Will Barton is.
What are you getting for Will Barton? Will Barton's not good. He's not that good. That's why you can't get anything for him. I actually like Will Barton, but who are you trading Will Barton for?
Will Barton would have got them something.
They wouldn't have gotten him anything better than Will Barton.
At least make an effort. I do agree without Jokic.
How do you not know they didn't make an effort?
They didn't make an effort. They would have made a move if they didn't make an effort. I know because I'm a Laker fan and we didn't make an effort during the trade deadline. So let's
not talk about the Lakers front office and compared to the Nuggets front office.
Rob Pelinka was doing a good job until they let LeBron into the front office. I'm standing by that argument, but I know when a team is not making an effort and they
didn't have any pieces. They didn't have any pieces to make an effort with.
Hey,
they had nothing to trade.
Jokic won the MVP last year when Embiid got injured. He kind of won it by default because Embiid got injured. We're not going to deny Embiid another MVP because his team actually wants to win and made a move to improve their team because they had an all-star that didn't want to play on the Sixers. So I'm
going to deny Embiid the MVP because Jokic has been better than him this season. That's why I'm denying Embiid the MVP. I'm not denying it because, they went and got James Harden. If there was nobody else and Embiid was still the clear winner, then fine. But it's not clear. This is not clear cut. Jokic has been that good this season.
Leland's bringing up Nash got back-to-back in a similar situation, and guess what? Kobe Bryant was better than Steve Nash both of the seasons that he won MVP.
They like doing the back-to-back stuff. Like they just do. They
I
really
hate
like doing it. And I think Jokic still deserves it over Embiid, even if it's not back-to-back. But that is something like they just, for some reason, like that's just been a trend. They like doing the back-to-back stuff. It's very weird, but
I
that's a
need
trend.
more parity. There is more parity in who wins the championship than there is in MVPs. So I need more parity in my MVP. That means choose other people. Embiid, the whole season has been dominant. He's the leading scorer in the league. He's
And
averaging
they tied. It's like a 5-way tie for the
No,
leading scorer.
it's like 0.1
Yeah,
difference
it's
between
insane.
him,
Yeah.
Giannis, and then 0.3 between him and LeBron. LeBron's probably gonna win it at the end because, like I said, he's trying anything to take away from the fact that he's the reason that put us in this position. So he's gonna
LeBron's
cut the end.
Yeah, LeBron's like, I'm scoring 50 a game. What else do you want me to do? Like, what am I supposed to do here?
You got all his minions on social media, like you see, LeBron's doing everything. He scored 56. Come on, what are you talking about? He's putting it's him, and then everyone else is sucking around him. That's the argument. That's always the argument with LeBron whenever his teams don't play well.
Velma says Lakers can go lower than this. This ain't rock bottom. I'm like, probably. That's probably true. Honestly,
so. we could realistically at this point, we're like, I think 3 games ahead of the Spurs. We could realistically play ourselves out of the play-in. Like we are at that. We are at that danger zone.
The Spurs got the Pelicans next. Like the Spurs got to pick up some like victory. Like they barely beat the Thunder. That was a great game, by the way, and I'm very happy Lonnie Walker made that 3 because I love any Thunder game that is like close and competitive, and then the final minute the Thunder are just like, yeah, let's just lose this game. It's tremendous. This young guys showing out, which is great, and then you still get the loss. That's exactly what I want. I don't know if the Spurs actually have like the firepower or just I don't think they're good enough to like actually catch them, but the Lakers are trying their damnedest to let them catch them. That team, dude. That team, I don't know when you gave up watching, but like, oh man, it's not even fun to like make fun of them. I know the Timberwolves are doing a lot of making.
Yeah, they had a good old time telling Patrick Beverly getting
Patrick Beverly.
Oh man, him going to the Lakers bench like he's garbage, he stink. Oh my god,
it's so like if I was a neutral kind of fan when it came to Westbrook, and I fully admit that I'm not, and if it was like anybody but Patrick Beverly, if literally anybody, maybe Draymond, but like if anybody but Beverly is like doing this, I would probably think like when Towns was like, oh, the wind, like when Westbrook came out, I was like, that's funny. Patrick Beverly though, man, that man killed OKC's best shot at a title when he fucked up Westbrook's knee. So yeah, Patrick Beverly can fuck off, but like, it's good banter, it's good trash talk, but because of what he did that one season and ruining that potential title team, I can't get behind any type of Patrick Beverly trash talk. But look, man,
it's actual real animosity between
those two guys. Yeah. And I mean, look, talk your shit, Patrick Beverly. And if I was again a neutral party and didn't have like memories of what Beverly did and just like Westbrook and everything, I'd probably be like, like what? Let's be honest about Westbrook. That man talked a lot of shit on his way up. He was popping off on everybody. So like it goes around when you're falling like this. So like I get it. Again, if I'm neutral, I'd be like, oh, Patrick, that's funny. That's funny stuff. But because it's Patrick Beverly, I am like, fuck Patrick Beverly.
I totally agree with you. As a Laker fan, I've never liked Patrick Beverly when he was with the Rockets, when he was with the Clippers. Now he's on the Timberwolves, and it's the Timberwolves. At the end of the day, it was very embarrassing because it's the Timberwolves, ladies and gentlemen.
Towns is good though.
Towns has been killing it. 60 points. He's been rocking, and like I said, 17-6 since they were 500. They are the hottest team really in the West. let's not name I don't even think I think they're hotter than the Suns even. So yeah, I just feel like they are on a roll right now. They're feeling themselves, and they decided to open cheeks on the LA Lakers, and it's well deserved because we have 40 losses at this point. We are not going to finish the season at 500. We are definitely ending the season below 500 for a team that I had as the number one overall seed as the beginning of the season. No, it's not a good look. I'm not happy as a Laker fan. I'm ready for the season to be over. I love Friday mornings, but I hate being have to talk about this Los Angeles Lakers team because I don't even watch them anymore. I just see the highlights. I've even since last week when we kind of bashed Skip and Stephen A. I even watched some of Skip and Shannon talking about the Lakers, and even Shannon can't come up with an excuse for it. He was like, "You want to know why the Lakers are playing like this? Is because they're bad. They're a bad team." He's like Austin Reeves came in. He's in the starting lineup. Stanley Johnson's on a 10-day contract, getting heavy minutes. This is not a good team.
Where's THT? They were adamant about keeping THT. Like, oh no, we can't give up on him. Why is it this man, this all-star that Lakers fans told us he
not
was?
Me, not this
SG3.
Laker fan, not this Laker fan. Dude, you know me from the very beginning with THC. I was like, use him for a trade, get him out of here because you're so high on them. You probably have convinced another team, a bad team, or similar bad team to us, to put some value in him. You could have got Buddy Hield at one point for THT. I heard that rumor.
They should have done the Hield trade instead of the Westbrook trade anyway. Because I remember that day. That day was crazy because Woj is like, oh, they're getting Hield. It was like Kuzma and I think Harrell and maybe like a draft pick or something. I think they were keeping KCP, but it wasn't as much. And then like 2 seconds later, Shams is like, nope, they're getting Westbrook for like these same pieces. And then KCP was thrown in to that. And I remember thinking like, ooh, that Buddy Hield trade's probably a better fit. Like I understand Westbrook's got the name and the star power and everything, but somebody's seen enough Russell Westbrook. I, as a Thunder fan, my friend and I would always talk about what if like LeBron just came to OKC, played with Westbrook and stuff. Because LeBron always liked Westbrook. He always said nice things about him and whatnot. There's always respect there. And we were like, oh man, if LeBron came, like we were hype about it. It's just like LeBron and Westbrook. But then we thought about like the fit and everything. Like, oh no, that ain't gonna work. And now we're talking this version of Russell Westbrook. Somebody had this stat. I don't remember who it was, but I'm gonna pull it up here. Since the All-Star break, Russell Westbrook, 11% from three, 19% from mid-range. It is like 62% at the rim, so like he is actually finishing well around the rim. 11% from three, 19% from mid-range. I know you saw the clip of where Beverly is basically guarding the restricted area when he's supposed to be guarding Westbrook. He was just daring this man to shoot the basketball. Like they didn't care at all. When this team makes the play-in games, I think they will. It's going to be just the way they're going to guard Westbrook is going to be something else. It's going to be something else.
He is by far the worst three-point shooter in the NBA. He doesn't even take enough shots to be considered that. But when you just look at what he's done since the All-Star break, and these three-point attempts don't even look close. He's hitting the front of the rim. He's not even hitting the rim at all. He's hitting the backboard. It's embarrassing how people are guarding. They're guarding him with more room than they used to guard Rajon Rondo. And that's
Rondo actually turned into like a decent
exactly. When we won the championship in the bubble, he was hitting threes. He was nailing them, and I much rather want that Rondo over this Westbrook. This is I don't know what happened to him. Like he was playing really well in Washington, but it seems like the pressure of being in LA, this big trade, all the expectations.
I don't think pressure, expectations have very little to do about it. I think a lot of it comes down to he doesn't know what his role is. I don't think that's been defined. Maybe it has been defined, but like it's not the right role for him. And like he's just kind of shot. Like it was evident in like it's been evident the past couple of seasons when the Washington season, that team, no one really cared. The Houston season, like you could see it, even though the final OKC season, like he's never been a great shooter and the shooting just fell off from what it was, but he's just like, it's just shot. Like he relied so much on athleticism and the athleticism just isn't what it was anymore. He was never a great shooter. So his shot is just completely abandoned him because he doesn't have as much lift. I don't think pressure has anything to do with it. I think this man is just absolutely shot. And the other part is like, what I hate about this for Westbrook is like, this is how everyone thought he just like always played. Because the Lakers are getting the absolute worst version of Russell Westbrook, like the worst version. And so now everyone's like, this is who Westbrook's always been. This is what he's always done. It's like, no, Westbrook was good. Like he had great seasons in OKC. He was not the reason that they lost these games when people think they lost these games and everything. Kevin Durant shooting 6 for 31 in game 6 at home against the Warriors. That's what lost them that game, not Russell Westbrook. But like people just think like this is who Westbrook has always been. It's not. This is just who he is now, and this is just the worst version of him. And it sucks to see as somebody who enjoyed the best version of Russell Westbrook.
And this seems to happen a lot for the Lakers. Like I said, I think I said this point on one of our very first episodes of FMC. The Lakers have the worst track record of any NBA team when it comes to building a super team. Every time we build,
maybe they should trade for guys that are on the downswing instead of trade for them on the upswing.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, every time we try to build a super team, we get the worst version of the people that we're getting. Yes, we got Gary Payton and Karl Malone at the tail end of their career, but we got the worst version of Gary Payton and Karl Malone at the tail end of their career.
We got old version of Malone and Payton.
We didn't get a old version of Dwight Howard, and we still got the worst version of Dwight Howard.
That's true. That's actually true.
So
the one time they tried to swing and get like the best version of a player, David Stern was like, "Nah, fam, that ain't working." Exactly. The Chris Paul trade, like that one was their attempt, and like that was I've talked about it with my friend, like. If the Lakers get Chris Paul, like how does that change the trajectory of that entire team? Like I think they win the title that year.
Totally
because like Chris Paul
and we would have got Kobe versus LeBron because Miami was going to make the championship that season. So
Chris Paul was like peaking at that time, and that's what they were trying to do. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. And I really wanted to see Chris Paul and Kobe on the same team. I think that could have been a lot of fun.
Did I ever tell you about that week? I was so distraught in that week. And I actually, my sister, wanted to cheer me up. She does a lot of like political stuff, and she was invited to a holiday party at the White House. So I was able to get in a line of people that were there for the holiday party and meet Barack Obama, the first ever Black president of the United States, one of my mentors, one of my heroes. And, so many people are getting in the line. They're talking about, they gave us like a huge pamphlet of all the jobs he's created, because that was one of the narratives that they put against him, but he created a lot of different jobs. So people were like, thank you for all the jobs you created. Oh my God, you're such an inspiration. The first Black president. And then I went up there, and you know what I said to Barack Obama? Because I knew Barack Obama was a big NBA fan. I was like, what type of control do you have in the NBA? And can you overturn their decision to block Chris Paul from going to the Los Angeles Lakers? And I got that same response from Barack Obama. He was like, that's the best thing anybody said to me today. So I took an opportunity to meet one of the biggest, figures in all of American history.
The man who runs the world, according to rappers.
So that's why I was like, yo, he could override this trade, man. David Stern is out of control. Let the Lakers have Chris Paul.
I love that you took your opportunity to meet Barack Obama and was like, hey, can we get this Chris Paul vetoed? Can you put a bill in motion to get Chris Paul to the Lakers? What are we doing, Barack? Come on, I don't care. Whatever's going on with oil or anything else, I don't give a shit about that. Just get Chris Paul to the Lakers.
I did not care. My sister literally like she was part mad but could not stop laughing that I actually said it to him because I told her I was like I'm gonna talk about basketball with them and she told me she was like please don't talk about this trade because she's very upset
No,
about it.
I'm glad you did that. That is tremendous. That's absolutely tremendous. Oh, that fucking rules so much.
That I was so adamant about that. I'm still upset. 10 years later, I am still upset that they vetoed that Chris Paul trade because the Lakers would not be in this state. I did not like LeBron for much of his career. I liked LeBron when he was originally in Cleveland, but ever since the decision and, I always have this kind of, I always bring up Kobe on this show. I always had this animosity toward anyone that they told me was better than Kobe, whether it be Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, he's probably my second favorite player of all time behind Kobe. I had an animosity towards him when they said he was better than Kobe, Dwayne Wade, and then it became LeBron James. So towards the tail end of his Cleveland run, I was like, I'm not feeling him as much as I like him. He's probably my second favorite player in the league. And then the decision happened, and I was like, oh no, this was ridiculous. I was like, you're gonna make a show of leaving your hometown? Like, no, I'm over this. I don't care what you did for charity. No, I'm not a LeBron James fan, but I would not be in this state where I have to root for this man if the trade did happen 10 years ago.
I think LeBron still would have come to the Lakers.
Yeah, probably so.
He wanted to make movies.
Yeah, he
wanted to make movies. He definitely wanted to make movies. Oh man, the Lakers. Did they fire Vogel? Like that team, their body language is just so bad. It looks like they're like trying to get Vogel fired, and I just don't know if like they're gonna pull the trigger on that move. I just think it's like, well, here's the mess we created. Let's finish this season with this mess.
Yeah, it really looks bad. It does not look like they want to play. We got 13 games left of the season, and you would think that these guys were just like someone in their family has passed away. Like they don't look like they have any passion to play. Like literally, the guys that are playing the hardest are Austin Reeves and Stanley goddamn Johnson. Like it's sad. It's really
Those guys
sad.
actually care.
They care. Yeah, they care because Stanley Johnson's like, this is the only way I'm going to keep my job. And Austin Reeves is like, yo, I'm playing next to LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. I'm good. He was like, it don't matter if I'm losing. He was like, I reached.
He wasn't in the league like a month ago. Like, of course he's happy. He's like, yeah, sure. He's getting some run. He's playing for that next contract. He ain't worried about this one. He's playing for the next one.
Exactly. So yeah, I couldn't even tell you how they playing recently because I stopped watching. I ain't watching this anymore.
The Lakers play tonight. They got to play somebody, right? Let's see.
Oh God, I don't even want to know. We got 13 games. 13 games, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready for this season.
The Raptors. The Raptors.
Again,
that's a team that like plays hard and everything too. That's like the Lakers' worst nightmare. Just a team that's just gonna, doesn't matter what the situation is, they're just gonna go out there and just play their asses off. Yeah, the Raptors are 9-point favorites, which is insane. I think LeBron is like questionable, but still 9-point favorites.
That's a dub. That's a dub for the Raptors, man. We're about to be 29-41. So yeah, with this loss tonight, we have no way to be above 500 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, they'll make the play-in, and then they'll lose the one-game play-in, and then LeBron will passive-aggressively blame everybody else.
I mean, I think
maybe moves will get made in the offseason.
I think we could beat the Pelicans. I'm just gonna say that. I think we can beat the Pelicans.
But then you got to play the Clippers or the Timberwolves, and you're not beating one of them.
No, we're not making it out the play-in, that's for sure. But I think we can win the 9-10 matchup.
Well, congrats. I'm not even sure they could beat the Pelicans, man. Like Ingram's gonna score, McCollum's gonna score. It's gonna be a shootout, and I'm gonna trust. I know one team has LeBron James, but like I'm gonna trust the team that actually has scores on their team outside of LeBron, because Westbrook probably ain't scoring. I don't trust that Davis is gonna be back. I mean, I don't know why anybody would trust that. The Pelicans at least have a little bit of scoring punch to them.
But it's gonna be interesting. I think this West is kind of the Suns to lose,
If
especially
Chris
if they
Paul's not healthy, then that opens it up big. But like now
dude.
Steph is hurt.
Exactly. We got the most important players going into this Western Conference Finals are question marks with Chris
Yeah.
Paul and Steph Curry. I wouldn't be surprised, like even though I just trashed him for the first half of the show, that if the Nuggets do finish off in like the sixth or fifth seed, they could make a run and get back to the conference finals with the way these injuries are playing out. Because, like I said, the Grizzlies are a question mark. They're still a dark horse, so I don't really have that much trust in them. It's
the
really like
the Grizzlies I have more trust in now if Chris Paul and Steph Curry are hurt. The Suns are still really good. Like they're still just well balanced and well constructed. So like I'm not sleeping on them at all, even without Chris Paul. The Nuggets, like they need at least Murray or Michael Porter Jr. back. They need one of them back because the problem in the playoffs with Jokic is like he's going to have to sit, and when he sits, they're going to get destroyed. It's very much Westbrook in 2016. It's just they won't be able to sustain anything when he sits. The team that like let's say if Chris Paul and Steph Curry are not like super healthy, the team that I'm not sleeping on is like the Mavericks. Because Luka is playing out of his mind. I don't even think that team's that good, but like Luka is playing out of his mind. Dinwiddie's hitting big shots for them. The way they just like play with their 5 out and let Luka do everything, he's going to be the best player on the court every single series. Unless Steph is back, then it's close. Him and Jokic are still close, but like I'm gonna probably take Luka in kind of a one-on-one setting. If Steph's not fully healthy, and even over Jokic, as much as I love Jokic, like it does a lot of times it will come down to guard play in the playoffs. So like Luka's out of his mind, and that team, the way they're playing right now, especially since the Porzingis trade, I ain't sleeping on them to possibly make some type of run.
100% agree with you. Like I have more belief in the Mavs and the Nuggets than I do the Jazz and the Grizzlies at this point. If we're kind of putting, question marks because of the injuries on the Suns and Warriors, I think that the Mavs and Nuggets have a really good shot of beating one of those top seeds, like especially if we do see a 3-6 matchup of the Nuggets and Warriors without Steph Curry. I probably would take the Nuggets because they have the best player on the court in Jokic. Yes, Wiggins still been playing well. Clay's been getting into form, but there's two. They like Draymond. He's still a little banged up. We got Steph Curry out. The Warriors are not looking like the Warriors of even a week ago. So it's not a good look for them to verse a player like Jokic, who's, like we said, like we talked about his stats earlier in the show. He's been balling out. So yeah, I probably would take them. And then Mavs and Jazz. Man, I'm taking the Mavs. I'm taking the Mavs. I don't have no belief in the Jazz. I feel the Jazz are a great defensive team, but when it comes to offense, it's Mitchell or bust. So
and that's a bad with the way the Mavericks play with 5 out. Like that's been proven. That's how you pretty much expose Gobert in the playoffs. Like so, yeah, that's a tough matchup for, especially since they don't have Ingles to guard. I mean, they even traded him, but before they traded him and he was injured, not for the season, to guard Luka a little bit on the perimeter. And Mitchell, I mean, he's been called out for his defense. They're going to try to get a switch off of all of that anyway. Yeah, that's a tough matchup for the Jazz. Don't sleep on the Mavericks. If Steph isn't fully healthy, if Chris Paul, I still like the Suns, even if Chris Paul is a little banged up. But don't sleep on the Mavericks making a run possibly at the conference finals.
I just hate that the Suns basically are getting gift wrapped another trip to the conference finals and NBA finals.
How's it gift wrapped? They've been playing well all season. They've been the best team all season.
Man, they keep getting the red carpet in the fucking playoffs.
They've been the best team all season, SP3. How's it gift wrapped?
They're getting gift wrapped. Trips to the freaking NBA finals.
The Jazz have been healthy. And they're the Jazz.
The Jazz. The Jazz are the Atlanta Hawks of 2012.
The Grizzlies have been healthy. They're good. It's just nobody believes in them. But they're gonna put up a fight and everything. The Mavericks have been healthy and good. Like there are tough teams out there. The Lakers. It's not that everybody else's fault that the Lakers suck. The Clippers haven't been healthy all season. That's just they've been dealing with that. Same with the Nuggets. They've just been dealing with that. The Warriors are kind of the one where it's like, all right, that one sucks because they're losing their top players to injuries. That one sucks. I don't think they're gift wrapped anything. I think the West is on a downswing right now. And
Gift wrapped.
The Suns have just been the best team in the West. They've been the best team all season. Even without Chris Paul, they've been the best team.
I've hated the Suns since 1993, ladies and gentlemen. I've been rooting against the Suns.
Barkley do something to you?
No, I just don't like the Suns. They have really I like their jerseys. The jerseys are really cool. But no, I don't like the Suns. I rooted against the Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire Suns. I will root against the Devin Booker and DeAndre Jordan.
That's the team that got me back into basketball. Like, I stopped caring about basketball after Jordan retired. I was like, league is kind of like down and everything right now. I just didn't like pay much attention. Jordan years, I was always all in. But then he retired. I was like, okay, whatever. And then like the 7 seconds or less Suns came along. I was like, oh, this is fun. I read the book on them. I forget who did it, but like it's a whole book, like behind the scenes. Like the person followed the team around that entire season, so it's like really good stories and stuff. Like the way they would play, and this is when Steve Nash became my second all-time favorite player behind Jordan. And like I love that team so much. And Steve Nash, the original point guard. And your 30-year grudge is the Suns.
Absolutely. I hold grudges for life. I love JJ Super Chat as well. Open invitation.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna look, Barack. Do you want me to tweet Obama? I mean, I tweeted Cody to see if he was signing. Oh shit, I gotta mute myself.
Yes. We got to tweet Barack and ask him to come on FMC and talk about the story of SP3 meeting him and asking him to veto the Chris Paul to Lakers veto trade. Yeah.
Right. Hey, Barack Obama, do you want to come on FMC and reflect on, I'll tag you at SP3 asking you to veto the veto of the Chris Paul to Lakers trade.
I might actually like retweet this and make this
also
my new tweet.
We can also talk other basketball. There we go.
Absolutely.
There you go, everybody.
Hey, we can talk about the Bulls, Obama. We can talk about anything. I mean, you won't like my opinion on your Bulls, but hey, we could have a little fun with that. But that would probably be the biggest guest possible. We could get on FMC.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know who's topping Barack Obama.
Man, I love this show. This show has made me expose the fact that I met Barack Obama. This show has exposed the fact that my nephew goes out with the sister of Kyrie Irving. This is why you like we got a few people watching. You guys got to spread the word. Start tweeting out. FMC is your favorite sports destination Friday mornings.
This is like the most fun I have every single week. This is why I wanted to do it weekly instead of bi-weekly. The problem is like this is a W channel and it's like, oh, these dorks are talking about basketball. Like we're not gonna follow this stuff. It's legitimately the best show we have on the channel. I don't care if it does like the least amount of views. It's the best show we have on the channel, burying all the other shows. It's better than Day After Dynamite. Who cares about that stuff? It's better than all the shows Joel does. Way better than all those shows. Yeah, it's the best show we have on the channel. It's just the least watched because it's a W channel and it's like, oh, it's basketball stuff. This is not of our interest of why we have subscribed.
I love like Friday mornings. They don't get anything wrestling related.
Yeah, no. It's this show and Degrassi dudes. And again, like these are the least watched shows on the channel. But I don't watch a ton of Degrassi dudes. I'll check it out every now and again because I like you and Jensen, but I know nothing about Degrassi and I have too much shit going on to like start watching this show. But like you guys have a lot of fun with it, and I'm just like, everybody's just having fun on this. Like that's what it's all about, right? Who gives a shit about viewership and stuff?
Absolutely. We do this for the love of it. And because Jeremy makes me laugh every single Friday morning. The stuff he makes me expose about myself. This stuff that I've been doing podcasting for like 5 years now, and I've never said any of this stuff. So this is like the perfect outlet for me.
I do want to talk briefly about Deshaun Watson not choosing the Panthers because I'm very excited that I don't have to like be awkward about rooting for Deshaun Watson. Obviously, great football player. I mean, he didn't play in the year, but I assume he's still very good at throwing a football. I don't the sexual assault, the allegations, and everything that are there. I understand that it wasn't going to trial and stuff. Look, man, if 22 women come forward, that is more than just like. And when we talk about trial and stuff, it's a lot of he said, she said type of thing, and so that's probably why it didn't. The evidence probably wasn't there. But I'm going to believe 22 women over whatever Deshaun Watson has to say. So I'm glad I don't have to awkwardly like be a Panthers fan and still be like, yeah, but Deshaun Watson, he's a piece of shit. Just the team can suck this year. The Panthers can just be trash. We can win 4 or 5 games. We can fire Rule. We can actually maybe try to rebuild again. Good luck in New Orleans. Good luck in Atlanta. Wherever he goes, he'll torch us 2 times a year. That's fine. He's a garbage person. I'm glad I don't have to root for him.
Yeah, I'm happy that you don't have to root for him because that's a lot. And the fact that he's the guy that's going into massage sessions and getting these type of allegations, he doesn't have anything to stand on. He does have to stand on that he seems like his legal issues are away from him, but I could see him going to the Atlanta Falcons because it doesn't seem like they're trying to solve their issue with Matt Ryan, so they're gonna get him out of there. I don't want to see him in the league, honestly, because I think that there should be something with the league that they do with him, but that's besides the point.
I imagine the league will suspend him because, like
Yeah,
Roethlisberger, he didn't.
exactly.
And the league still suspended him. So I feel like the league is like still gonna just like suspend him for 4 games, which is a slap on the wrist of everything. But like, yeah, I'm happy I don't have to be like, oh yeah, Panthers, Deshaun, great job. Like, oh, I don't like being put in that awkward like position where people think that like I'm rooting for Deshaun Watson because I'm not, because I'm rooting for my team. And I would just rather not have those type of guys on my team. Period. Yeah. So I'm glad he's not coming to Carolina for that reason. Great football player, just shitty human being if those allegations are true. And yeah, I'm gonna believe 22 women over the money that his lawyers have.
If 22,000 soldiers say the same thing and saw the same thing, I mean, and one general is saying it didn't happen, I'm sorry. I'm going to believe the soldiers, regardless of ranking, ladies and gentlemen. But it's kind of an interesting domino effect because, because of this whole Deshaun Watson thing, that's why I learned about the whole issue going on with Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan. Then we got the whole thing with Baker Mayfield asking for a trade. So, like, it's like this is probably the most interesting NFL offseason in a while for me as far as different things going on.
The quarterback carousel is insane. Yeah. So like the EP is a Browns fan, and like both of our organizations just like clown shoes right now. It's like the Panthers can't figure out what they're doing at quarterback because they missed on Watson. So it's like, all right, do we have Darnold? Do we draft a quarterback? Do we trade for Ryan? Do we trade for Baker? And the Browns, they fucked up everything by going after Watson. They pissed off Baker. And so now he's looking for a trade, but then they won't honor that. I was like, our teams are going to win like 3 games combined this season. Like, we're just going to not watch football all season. We'll just root for other teams or something because our team's going to be trash. We don't know who's playing quarterback. We don't know who's going to be like just on the team in general. So, yeah, football season just might be canceled in this household.
We need like a FMC fantasy football league with me, you, EP. Maybe we get a couple of our watchers in on it, or people.
We can do a fantasy football league. I'd love to.
Yeah, I'm down for that. So we all have a team for root for, because me myself, I don't have a team. I haven't had a team since Peyton Manning retired from the NFL, and I've kind of stand firm with that because
we gotta get you a team, SB3.
Dude, if Peyton Manning never would have had his issues with the Indianapolis Colts, I would have stayed loyal to them. I would have stayed loyal. The way they treated him on his way out, I was like, I can't mess with y'all. The Broncos, I always felt was a temporary thing. I wasn't gonna stick around
Yeah,
when
Russell
Peyton
Wilson
left.
now. He's good.
Yeah, dog. I'm happy. My boy Stag King over on True Hill, he stayed with the Broncos. He's another Peyton Manning fan that stayed with the Broncos, so I'm very happy for him. Russell Wilson on edibles is the best thing that's happened to his social media. So I mean, I'm down to watch them, and maybe I may even throw my hat in there before old time's sake, just for next year to see how he does over there and to see how they do in the AFC. Maybe I'll throw my back. I still got my Broncos hat, but I'm sorry. There was also the reason why I can't root for the Broncos is I've never been as embarrassed as I was going to a bar for the Super Bowl when the Broncos versus the Seahawks. And I was there alone. My friend didn't show up until like just into the second quarter and the game was already over. That was like the most embarrassing. Sitting in a bar, you had a whole bunch of Seahawks fans cheering around me. I felt pathetic. And I still hold that against them. Even though they won a championship after that, it really wasn't Peyton that won them the championship. It was their defense that won them that one. So
yeah. I thought that like that Broncos team was I thought that game was gonna be a blowout in the other direction.
Me too.
I was sold on that Broncos team because I love Manning. I was like, yeah, like the Seahawks defense is good, but like Broncos offense just looks to be on another level.
They did.
Now. Obviously, it didn't quite go that way. And then yeah, when Manning got back to the Super Bowl, it had to be against my team, and like he didn't even play that well. Like he was shot by that point. I'm glad he went out on top, but he could have gone out on top against a different team. All right, let's get into TV reviews. You haven't seen this week's episode of South Park, but you watched last week's. What do you think of last week's?
I loved it. I very much got what you and like Romeo and other people that watch South Park were telling me how wholesome it was, and really, it was very easy to get the punchline and the story going on as soon as they was like, oh, you got to go with the teenagers, and then you started hearing what the teenagers were saying, and I love the ending bit with Randy about to we should take them out. Like, not yet. We still got a couple of more years before they're teenagers too. So like that was a great episode and took you back to like the vibes of like the earlier seasons, where this is like an episode you can kind of see not in the same order as season 25, and it kind of stands out on its own, where you can see it and you would think that it's like a season 5 episode or a season 10 episode. It's like one of those earlier seasons. I did agree with that.
Yeah, I thought last week's was great, and it was great at the end. Like, now we got a few more years. It's like these kids have been like 8 for about 25 years now. Like, this is why like it's just gonna hold up forever. It's because like they don't age or anything like that. So it's just always gonna hold up. And there's 8-year-olds acting like they are fathers to these teenagers, the my teenager type thing. My teenager. Yes. You gotta admit, like when they do the initial stuff and it's like all about guns and stuff, I thought they were going like anti-gun, pro-gun type of thing. Like I thought they were gonna touch on that stuff. And like there were still like parts of that you could see what like the stances are, and they touched on it a little bit, but they did not build like the whole episode around it, which was good. I love the scene where like when Cartman finally shoots Kyle, is like, this is the greatest day of my life, and he gets him with the headshot. He's like, this is the best, nothing's ever gonna top this. Cartman was tremendous, that one. And then when he gets he catches a teenager in the bathroom and just like lights him up. That was good stuff.
He was like, my teenager keeps going into the bathroom with lotion. I don't know how much dry skin does he have. That was just great. It was just so freaking great. It was just a really good episode. I enjoyed it. I laughed. I watched it with wifey as well, and she enjoyed it. So it was a nice, good time. So I'm looking forward to today. It's been like Fridays after I'm done with everything. I've been able to kind of settle in and watch South Park, because wifey also wants to watch like Bel Air and stuff like that with me. So
how is this Bel Air show?
Dude, it's really good, because it didn't fall into the trap of trying to make it a remake. I think that's
it's like a drama, right? Like it's not comedy at all.
It's literally they took the story of of Will, the whole theme song
Yeah.
basically, and him going to Los Angeles, and they basically turned it on his head, where they basically tell you that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was the good side. That's like that's like what we put out into the public, but now we're seeing what was happening behind closed doors. Like that's how
Ah,
it really is. Like they have changed a few things, like Hillary's not as aloof as she was. She actually cares about stuff, but it makes sense that Hillary, if you put the Hillary character in 2022, what would Hillary be? A high school dropout who's like the Princess of Bel-Air? She would be an influencer. That's what she is. They had the elements of like Will and Carlton. Like a lot of people I heard early on were like upset that they felt like Carlton's character was a little bit too different, but they don't really those people that said that don't really remember that Will and Carlton the first season did not get along for a
yeah.
majority of that, and they've kind of taken the character in a different direction and try to like make it more dramatized, where at first it's a little off-putting, but you get used to it after a while and you want to see him come around. And the actor that they got to play Will, he gets the Will character and the mannerism and everything. So I very much enjoy it, and I've been recommending it to everybody that it's not what you think. And there's a lot of shows that they try to remake and try to make it like the old one. This one is not. It's a reimagining of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, not a remake.
I didn't think it was a remake at all, mainly because like when you watch the trailer, you can just tell it's a drama. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, they're not just gonna do like campy. Like I watched the Saved by the Bell reboot and everything, and like there's a lot of still like cliches from
Yes.
that you see in the original Saved by the Bell, and I don't have an issue with it. I think
I actually do like the
yeah,
new Saved by the Bell. I'm not gonna front. Like
yeah, I think it's good.
I actually I love what's her name? Lexi. Lexi is
Yeah,
like my favorite character from that show. And I think it's DeAndre, the dude with the afro. I love him too. So I very much like the Saved by the Bell, but that tries to be a remake of Saved by
yes,
the Bell.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, and when I saw the Bel-Air trailer, I was mainly just like, why do we need this? Why do we need a dark version of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? What, nobody
Which I
asked for
get.
this.
I do get that. I do get that.
Like that's my biggest holdup is I'm just like, I don't need a dark version of this show. I love the original. I don't always like watching like too much dramas nowadays anyway. If I'm gonna watch like anything dramatic, it's just gonna be trash reality television. Temptation Island is back, baby. Let's go.
I see you getting hyped. I see you getting
Oh,
hyped.
dude, I love that stupid show.
Man,
It's just garbage TV at the worst.
the ones we've been watching, me and wifey, reality wise, has been the new season of Catfish, which we've been very much enjoying.
Okay.
We've been very much enjoying the new season of Catfish. They've been a lot of good episodes lately. The 90 Day Fiance, because we still have all those spin-offs that we have to catch up on before the new season of the main show starts. And then Jersey Shore Family Vacation, which is like a shell of the old Jersey Shore, because
Yeah,
I like go back and watch that old Jersey Shore. Like that is peak reality television
it
for me.
is.
Like Ron and Sam, like there will be nothing like that. There will no other relationship in reality television will be as toxic as Ron and Sam.
It's yeah. That dude, original Jersey Shore was, I might say like Real World really like kicked off
Yeah.
reality television stuff, but Jersey Shore like really took it up to a different level with everything. That is peak reality television right there. I watched some of like the early seasons of like Family Vacation, and I'm just like, man, these guys are just still doing this shit. But they really are like they're moms and dads and shit now. It's
Yeah.
like it's definitely different. Like it's cool. It is like a reboot of the the shit we've seen. But I did watch a Double Shot of Love because I love any type of like trash like dating show like that, like reality competition, like dating stuff. I love that shit because I mainly love it because it's like this is not how you fall in love. Like
No.
how many reality television couples like last, like they win these shows. We watched the new Joe Millionaire thing.
Oh,
Um
nice.
and yeah, it was just bad, just trash TV. But like we watched that, and one, so there's two Joe Millionaires, and one was like one's an actual millionaire and one is broke, but by broke,
Yeah.
he still has like $100,000 in the bank and stuff. Like he's still very well off. And then the one person who was broke, she was actually like really like financially wealthy and everything. My point of all this is like they were together like after the show stopped filming for like 2 months. It's like y'all did this whole process, everything, and said, "Oh, we love together forever," proposal, whatever, promise rings, whatever. It's like they just broke up like 2 months later.
Dude, I stopped believing in that. You know what was the show that kind of broke me as far as like never believing a relationship can last after the whole thing is Flavor of Love. Because like, dude, literally, it was twice. They did it twice where he had the reunion, and by the time he did a reunion, you could tell the relationship was over.
It was the same. It was the same shot with Double Shot. Like they got to the reunion, and it's like, yeah, we don't really talk anymore and stuff. It does seem like a big issue with that, and I don't know how it is more nowadays. But at least like with that is because they want to like keep it a secret of who like wins and stuff. Like even after filming is over, you can't like talk to each other or like be seen and stuff because then it gives away who wins. And so like that can, I would imagine, be pretty stressful of like, hey, we just went on this whirlwind. We were together every day. You're competing for love and you fall in love and everything. And then for like 2 months, you just can't like see each other because unless it's like in a sneaky manner, because like we got to protect the show of who actually wins. Because if everyone knows, oh, this person won, I saw them out together in public and everything, then nobody's going to watch the show. So I imagine that'd be pretty hard on a relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's like mainly the issue for anything that I've seen. I haven't really watched Double Shot of Love, but out of that, Paulie met Nikki, which he's still with, and they seem very serious, and they seem like they're on their way probably sooner rather than later. And because it seems like every season of Family Vacation, somebody gets married. Like JWoww got divorced on Family Vacation, and now she's about to get married to the wrestler 24. So it's like, yeah, it seems like this is always the theme. And even like Vinny has been funny at the last couple of Family Vacation episodes. He's been talking about how everybody on the cast gets a party, but he doesn't. Like literally, the Situation has had a party for getting baptized again, for getting his independence when he's off probation. He had his wedding, his baby shower. Like it's ridiculous the amount of parties Situation has. But it's great to see Situation and root for him compared to what he was during the original season.
Yeah, when I watched the Family Vacation, the first couple of seasons, it was so much different because he was complete asshole in like the original series. Now like he's turned his life around and everything. It's really good to see. Good on him.
It really it's like yo, you used to be the worst character, the character that I rooted against, and now you're the one that
Ronnie is still a piece of shit.
Oh man, you heard he's off the show again because he had.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because he got into the new girlfriend that he was about to. They had the whole first couple of episodes of this season. He's like talking about he goes to Jersey to meet the girl's parents and ask him if he can ask her to get married. He's only been going out with the girl for like 5 or 6 months, and then the very next scene we go to commercial. And very next scene is he got into another fight. He's on TMZ, and now he's going to be off the show permanently.
Man, I watching the first couple of seasons of that, and I don't know the girl's name, but it was just, you could tell it was the most like toxic thing ever. It's like, yo, you guys gotta knock this shit off. Like, you gotta grow up, dude. Everybody else has grown up. You are still like thinking you're Jersey Shore and you're back on the boardwalk and shit.
He showed it almost immediately because like you as a viewer, you saw the difference in Situation, and he's still holding on to grudges from the first series. Like, you got in the way of my relationship with Sam. Like, no, you got in the way. Ronnie, you're the issue here. If it was you and Sam and now it's toxic, okay, you could just say that. But then you got with the Jen girl, your baby mama, and that was even more toxic. Her slapping you in Las Vegas in the hotel and stuff. And then you get with a third chick, and then she's like, seems like very nice, very wholesome. And then you get into the whole blow up with her. You're the issue, dog. So I'm glad he's taking time off of the show.
Yeah, he just needs to be off the show. Sammy's not like doing the show at all, right?
No, she's like scarred. She's like scarred from that first series.
She seems like she's just completely moved on, and she's she's a mom now and everything. Seems like she's happy in her relationship. So bless her. She didn't need to bring her family into that shit.
No. And Angelina is back like now, so she's like actually a part of the show, and she's like usually the one you root against because she's still annoying, and she's like having issues with her husband, and her husband cheated on her, and she's like stepped out on her husband. So that's where like a lot of the drama comes into. And then there was the whole thing with her wedding, and the girls like tried to do this funny speech that didn't get over well, and there was like a whole beef between them before the pandemic and stuff. So there is like still the drama there, but it's not as like epic drama as like the first series was. But I did want to ask you a question, TV related, is because we found out a couple of episodes, I think 2 episodes ago, you're an OC fan.
Yes.
And there is a person who I view as the most toxic character on the OC. So I wanted to hear your impersonation or your impression of them. Marissa Cooper. That is the character I hated the most from the OC.
She was of like the main 4. She was definitely the most like hateable because like you root for Ryan because like he's just down on his luck and he gets like taken in by the family and like he's still like he just doesn't know how to act around all this stuff, right? Summer like sucks in the early seasons, but then she really turns it around and everything. And then Seth, you just kind of root for him from the start.
Seth's like the best character.
Dorky Jewish kid who just wants to just enjoys his comics and just wants to be loved and everything. You root from Seth from the start. Summer sucks the early season. Marissa is just kind of horrible throughout. She gets a little bit better with certain relationships. When she's with Olivia Wilde's character, like she's not too bad there. But there's always like the Ryan baggage with her. We're gonna do an OC. I think after Entourage, we're gonna rewatch the OC.
For sure. I'm down.
Do it. I love that show. It's so good. Speaking of Entourage, these 2 episodes. So we got the Sherpa in the script, and then Busey at the beach. Sherpa in the script. So Vince is with this new yoga girl. He's of course got a new girlfriend because
every episode.
Every episode. But we finally we move things along here because now we meet Josh Weinstein. Unfortunate last name, but we meet him. And he pitches the Queens Boulevard script, which becomes a big thing throughout this season and a little bit past the season. So we get Queens Boulevard introduced to the Entourage world. And Vince has got the girlfriend who wants to read everything, wants to do everything for him, has turned him into, they tossed out the meat and everything like that. There's a weed drought in LA, which I'm not sure is a real thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is. I've never been to LA. I have briefly, but like maybe it's a real thing. I don't feel like all of LA is just can't find weed. But we get Val Kilmer as the Sherpa, which is so fucking good. And the EP is watching it with me, and she's like, "Who is that?" Like I recognize, but like he's he's got like the long hair and the beard and stuff. He's not fully like and especially the one scene where he's got like glasses on. She's like, "I can tell, but like I can't tell." I was like, "That's Val Kilmer." Like, oh, it is Val Kilmer, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's so good."
He was awesome. When he meets Johnny Drama, he's like, Johnny Drama from Viking Quest. When's the new season? he's like, we've been off the air for over a decade. Like, bummer. That was great. I love it. I loved Val Kilmer in this. He was kind of that was one of the highlights. And then when they meet the person who's like the executive producer for the movie, and they have the weed and they smoke in the car, and then the cops come and it's like Vinny's like, hey, it's my fault. And it's like, oh, Vince, like, hey, like, I love how just seeing Vince's face like takes everyone off guard, and they just don't want to do their job anymore. It's like he has this like he's like putting the thing and hypnotizing them. It's crazy.
It's when he when they go to the dinner and everything, and the producer is like, "Are you high?" He's like, "Actually, I am." He's like, "So I'm gonna order this, and this, and we're gonna go." And then he's like, "Wait a second, you actually got weed and stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, you want to go smoke it?" And then the cop comes, and then he's like, "What's up, guys?"
I love E. Like, are we talking about weed or are we talking about the script? And the producer's like, we could be talking about both.
Yeah. this is where we like it's been a little bit more evident the like last episode, but this is where like E starts to really like stand up for himself more against Ari and is like really taking control of what Vince is doing, because Vince wants to do Queens Boulevard after he reads the script and everything, or after the girlfriend reads the script and then he says he read it. But E like really takes control of like, all right, well, Josh Weinstein got us this. And now like you didn't even know about this. And Ari, of course, is trying to protect and everything. Is like, well, the producer doesn't like him, so explain that to him. I do like a scene where Vince is like taking pictures of the fan, and he's just like, Vince, the producer thinks you're a dick. What are you gonna do about it?
He's like,
yeah, sure.
He's like, sure.
Right, what other holdups you got? Like, what's next?
I love it. That was great. But no, the Busey and the beach is the highlight of season 1. And I knew rewatching it, I was gonna die laughing when Ari got to the house and does this beach. Oh my god, he's a pencil stealing. and then he drinks his drink. He's like, oh, it's garbage.
Dude, he comes in and like the single, like the roving shot of like follow him where he's like, hey, he's just talking to people. He's like, so I just called your boss, and you know, does he know you're using the house and everything? And she's like burying Weinstein with everything. Yeah, he's just like, this guy. He's like, I'll take every single one of your client. He's like, if you want to meet Chuckles the fuckface clown or whatever, then you're calling Josh. Anybody else, like I'm taking everybody. Your trashy reality TV show writers, your C-level movies, I'm taking all of these clients.
Yo, it was just so gangster how he did it. Just like the music, the roving shot, and then him just completely tearing down Weinstein, who up to this point seemed like the most confident person in the world. And earlier in the show, we got to get like the kind of a little bit of a backstory when he meets Emily, and they're like, "Oh, we worked in the mailroom together under Ari," and Emily's the one that has to tell them like, "Oh, they met with Josh Weinstein. Josh Weinstein was the one that gave him Queens Boulevard," and he's like going into a meeting, he like turns around.
Get little Vince on the phone.
I love him call him Little Vince. Get Little Vince on the phone, and then you got Turtle breaking the art from Busey, and then Busey with his speech at the beach. He was like, "I'm gonna purify you."
That was so good, because we're watching it, and that scene comes on where he's going off on Turtle. He's like, Turtle. He's like, yes. It pours the water on him, like, I purify you and everything. And Evie's just like, I'm pretty sure he's not acting. Like, they just had him walk up to him and just started filming, and they're like, Gary, just talk. And then that's what came out. It's like, yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
Just that speech and the speech at the art museum too. That was another one where I was just like, "That's Busey. Like that's not anybody scripting Busey. That's Busey probably ad-libbing a lot of that."
100%. Oh man. And then when Ari, after he tears down Weinstein, he meets with Vince and Eric and like shows a little compassion about stuff, gives the honesty. He's like, all right, well, here's this and this. Ari wants to make money, of course. He's an agent. He's like, Queens Boulevard, cool. Like these indie movies, look, man, they ain't making a bunch of money. Okay. And then you're not making a bunch of money off of it. So he wants the big blockbusters. When he got everybody in the pitch meeting and everything. I also love the scene where he's at the birthday party. He's like, look, the kid's not having any fucking fun. Like, you got a clown. He's not making a laugh and everything. And then the clown tries to give him his tape.
And he used the tape as a coaster.
Yeah. Ari tries to leave, and he's talking to Mrs. Ari, and then she finally, what'd she say? He's like, oh, you got to be back in time for cake. He's like, what? Fuck that and everything. He's like, you got to be back in time for cake. He's like, okay, I'll be back.
I'll be back. I love those moments with Mrs. Ari. They own so much, and then I love him with the little like affection towards Drama at the end. When Drama, the whole episode is going through the midlife crisis. They try to get the girls to be like, "Oh, we love the Viking Quest. Yeah. What was your favorite episode? The Volkey." He's like, "Get out of here." He was like, that's Turtles. That's Turtles' favorite episode. Don't try to fight me. I was like, yo, Drama said no. Oh, man, I love Drama in this episode and him talking to, like, the waiter and stuff. And then finally Ari telling him, like, yo, give homie a call. He got you, like, 3 auditions. He's like,
Adam Davies.
Adam Davies, who we should remember his name because he's going to come back into this.
Yep. I forgot that this is how, like, Adam Davies started, because I was like, oh, that name. Oh, yeah, he plays a much bigger role in upcoming seasons. Like, oh, shit. Okay. And then E is a dick to Emily with, he just wants to do business. He just wants to do business. And he's shitty when it comes to relationships.
He's really bad when it comes to women. And this is not the first woman that he kind of spurns.
Not the first, won't be the last when it comes to E.
Bless that man. Bless that man and all the women he's able to get.
All the women he fucks over as he does all this stuff. All right, so we got 2 more episodes of Entourage next week. We got another. You got to watch this week South Park, next week South Park, and then more basketball talk next week.
We
sure the Lakers will still suck. Jokic will solidify his spot as the MVP of the league. He will continue to solidify his spot. I don't know what Embiid's going to do. Flopping around. That's what Embiid's going to be doing. SP3.
Embiid is going to be getting up to that number 2 seed and make this debate even better for me next week. But yes, find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3, and I'll be back here in like 10 minutes on Degrassi Dudes.
Yes, stay here. Fightful Overbooked, Degrassi Dudes. I will be on Twitch at about 1:30 with Joel Pearl. I don't know what we're playing. It's either going to be Portal or WWE 2K. It depends on maybe just how I'm feeling and how much I feel like doing. So we'll be on Twitch again today, and then Coexisting with Rob and Maggie is at 3:00. So a lot of stuff to do today here at the Overbooked and Twitch offices. SV3, I appreciate it. As always, again, check out Degrassi Dudes with Jensen and SP3. I know it's wrestling, but I do want to plug it. Our interview with Carl Fredericks drops today. Jensen and I, we talked to Carl Fredericks for like an hour and 15 minutes. Very long interview. Talks a lot about Shibata and his time in New Japan and everything. So it was a great interview we did. So that drops, I believe, at noon today. So everyone can check out. That's on the Fightful main channel.
And check out me and Rick Ucchino interviewed Tucker Knight, Levi Cooper over on the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast. We talk about a lot of the storylines with Heavy Machinery over like the year and during the pandemic and him leaving the company, how he feels about the company right now. It's a really good interview. Check that out.
There you go. Go check that out. And check out everything with the Believe in Wrestling with Rick and SP3. Rick actually just messaged me. He probably wants me to listen and transcribe something. I'm not going to do it.
Probably the Levi Cooper.
I think it's actually Cardona.
Oh,
let me see. Hold on.
There you go.
No, it was Levi Cooper. I just saw a man in like a vest, and I thought it was Cardona. I didn't actually click like the DM. Yeah, it's Levi Cooper. You guys want me to transcribe all of this stuff. SP3, appreciate it always. We'll be back next week. Guys, enjoy your Friday. Have a good weekend.